from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Humpday views from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave on the Humpday Show. We're talking all out of the Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. We're talking all out of Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. We're talking all out of the Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. Humpday views from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Humpday views from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave on the Humpday Show. We're talking all out of Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. Humpday views from the Cornbread Nation. Humpday views from the Cornbread Nation. Humpday views from the Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave on the Humpday Show.
A long little pause there. I was waiting till the very end. Hump Day views. Oh, Jen says it's National Cat Day. I missed that. Usually I'm up on the national days. Didn't see that, Miss Jen. Thanks for letting us know. Miss Granny's Southern Corner, I hope you're able to be in here. I get it. Sometimes technology is kind of weird, and we kind of been off kilter a little bit. I think just some housekeeping. Rob will not be here today. He's not felt good today. Not be here tonight. Not felt good today. I think I got those words backwards. Reverse that and spin it forward again. Miss Elizabeth, I think, is going to come up in just a minute when she is available. Thank you to the History Post and Rock, and I'm looking at through my progressive lens. Rock and Mitchell. Twitch, I probably butchered that. Thanks for being on Instagram. And anybody else that's out there in the technological recesses of the internet, which some of them do not let us see your name. We just see a number. We know you're there lurking. Barry, how are you? Good to see you, brother man. And so, yeah, sometimes we have just a number, just relegated to a number, you know. So some of the Rumble and or StreamYard sometimes does, and I don't know if it's them or if it's X. You know, we don't see names from X, and sometimes we can't even really. Rarely have we ever seen a post from X, and that's not your fault. That's not our fault. That's just the way it is. But we see you there. You're always welcome, and I need to pull up my Discord. We got to use that more, a Discord, and you can always email us at southernfriedpodcast@yahoo.com. southernfriedpodcast@yahoo.com, or jump on Rumble or YouTube, or Facebook, and we should see that. We have over almost, we're not far from 15,000 followers on X. It's a shame. I need to fix that. See, there's Dog Tag. What is my number? Your number, sir, is, let me think here. Your number would be probably number 15. We'll say 15 tonight because I was looking around. Let's see, 13. No, actually, we'll say number 17. Just to throw a wrench in there. So I hope everybody's having a good hump day. I've been in meetings at work. We're doing strategy sessions. So it was really good just, sitting in a hard chair all day. I didn't feel great. I was going to do a true crime show I do on Clapper. I've moved that to Friday. I've had to bump a couple things this week, helping my wife and not feeling the best myself sometimes. But we're going to get them in. The only ones that know that is Clapper, whoever follows the stream. or the band. Join the band. If you follow band, you'll see our schedule. I do post a lot of daily or 2 or 3 days in advance schedules for everybody. But honestly, band is so much easier to follow us with because we update that on the fly. Hopefully 17 plays a great game tonight. The Dodgers need a win. You know, it's tied up, right? 2-2, Blue Jays, Dodgers. Can't let the Canadians win. USA, baby. Go Dodgers. I'm not a Dodgers fan, but in this situation, I will root for the Dodgers, the Brooklyn and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have way too many titles. Way too many. And spread the wealth around. I mean, come on. I mean, there's some lowly teams that haven't had titles. I mean, come on. You know, you throw all that money around, that LA money. I mean, it's the rich get richer. They got some great players, and I like them. I'm not against the players. Not a fan of, when you're a Braves fan, you get sick of the Dodgers and the Giants and the Astros back in the day. The Nationals now, sick of them. The Miami's going to be moving. I don't know where Miami's going, but Miami's going to be moving. Jake's getting on you, dog tag. You better straighten up. Jake the Snake is on the move here. And when you ain't done something, he gets on to you. It's like me. I still got Jake. You don't have to go there. I'm going to get to you before you do. I got sticker still that I need to send you. I know one day I'm going to remember that. You're going to fall over with a heart attack. Blue Jays have more money in their staff. Well, how about the whole team? Staff? What about the overall team budget? Is the Dodgers ahead with the overall team cost budget for what they've spent on their players, staff, the whole deal? You're breaking it down here. It's like, well, they got more money in their vans. I mean, come on. I'm just giving you a hard time. We fixing to start us the Appalachian Trail. Oh, what is this? We got Mama Potts in here. Go Dodgers, win the World Series. Yay. Sorry, I keep sending messages to Silverback. He is still hiking. And I know I've sent him some messages too. Where's Robert? He's sitting on a log. Where's Robert? He's speeding his dog. He's sick. He don't feel good. He don't feel good tonight. So y'all pray for him. We've both been just battling the last few days. I don't know. It's like, my tired in body a little bit. When you're a caregiver, sometimes, your body gets a little, this cold, windy weather don't help. I mean, it don't help. But y'all pray for Rob. He's not feeling well. It's had a rough day, and it'll be okay. We'll get through. Tomorrow I have an audit at work. Yay, an audit. I think Miss Elizabeth's going to jump up here. My friend, thank you, though, for the offer. She has said she would come in. I sent her a invite. She's probably just got to get situated. She may be just getting in. So that's all cool. I do have, and towards tonight is Humpday views, and the second hour is the vent. So I'm going to tie this together real nice and neat. And let me say off the front, because this is one of those that somebody could get offended at. I am fully supportive of law enforcement to do their job. However, and I support the men in blue, the blue line. However, we all know there's things that goes on that shouldn't go on sometimes in law enforcement. Sometimes they have to arrest their own. Sometimes they do things. So the topic, dog tag, is this. The first hour this is the first hour. I don't want the vents now. I will not read vents on the air because we're saving that for the vent, unless you don't have Rumble. If you don't have Rumble, you can put them in there, and I will tell them on the vent. But we say vents for vent. First hour is, in what ways have you do police, investigators, and use that word. We're going to use that word because they dance all over a line that is really mysterious to me sometimes. It's called legal entrapment. it's there's legal ways that the law enforcement can entrap you. And if you're not careful, you will blow your rights up. You will explode them right out. So this is looking at it from a defense lawyer's mind, or his, if you went and talked to a lawyer, things the lawyer would tell you, well, first of all, he's going to tell you to shut your mouth. Only tell what you have to tell. We in the South, who love to, we're good people. We tell a little bit too much. We do, because we're trying to be helpful. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. We're going to kick that off. We're going to go for an hour. In the vent, we're going to theme this. If you have an extra vent, that's fine. I'm not going to be legalistic, but in the vent, then I want you to tell me if you have, you can vent on if you've been done wrong. We're not going to, we don't have to bog ourselves down in the facts of the case. Just tell us, and we're going to just believe you on surface level. If you've been screwed over by the police, that's not a good word for me to use, but I'm going to say it anyway. And again, not putting down police. I'm just saying there's bad cops. I've met them. So, yeah, Barry, plead the fifth. But the vent will be, have you ever had that happen? Had that happen? You allowed yourself to get entrapped in it and you were mad at yourself, or, who hit the leadoff homer there, dog tag? Blue Jay strike first. Boom. So, and we're going to do that. A little bit of just a couple of the little things here. And we're going to talk about this. In the morning, as long as I'm feeling good, I didn't make a Cornbread Nation show, a Cornbread Man morning show. I will be on the morning of the Patriot morning show. That's what I call Thursday's morning show, Patriot morning show. We will have hopefully Cornbread Nation tomorrow night. The next two nights are really filled up. The schedule is really, really heavy. We have a interview coming. I think it's going to be on the 12th, I believe that is. We have a new business opening up in our area. I've talked to them, and they're going to be doing tours. And I believe it got late today. I didn't get to respond to her. We're going to, she specializes in Chickamauga Battlefield. That's what I'm covering on the History Show. So she's offered to come over on the History Show, and I'm going to get her on that too. And we'll introduce them. She'll probably be on the History Show before we actually interview her about the place. So, but I'm going to ribbon cutting Friday for the business. I'll try to get some video of that from the little town of Chickamauga, Georgia. So a little bit of that. We've got other interviews and stuff working, but that's one that's going to happen. I will finalize that tomorrow. Be interesting to hear about their story. So, and how we can help with them. We also have a second interview that we are working on, me and Dean, for the racing hour, a female race car driver, dirt track. And we're feeling pretty confident we're going to get that too. We're talking to someone connected. They say it's a best friend, and they're going to set it up. So we'll try to get that finalized. So watch the racing show on Tuesdays and Mondays and Wednesdays, depending on the week. It was Monday this week. It'll be Wednesday next week. Maybe we'll have it by then. Who knows? But Wednesday, really, we got to talk about the championship race, and then we'll get into it'll probably be the week after. So, but we'll see whatever their schedule allows. All right. It's 14 after. Remember, this show is brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile, use the promo code Cornbread. Make the switch today. Also, Mammoth Nation. We have QR codes and stuff for that. We have a new one with the Hodge twins. Love those guys. They're amazing. Love the Hodge twins. And we are excited to benefit with them. Many are. Don't forget our SFP coffees. Yes, SFP coffees. Use that promo code. There are all kinds of blends. Dubby, I've got to get with them this week. They've got all kind of specials working. Great people. Use that QR code for Mammoth Nation. And I'm going to have updated information on Payworld this week. You can support us as well monthly. I support myself. I am a breadhead in this, I believe. I am supporting the podcast. I support things I believe in. I certainly believe in it. So I'm going to do that. And so there's a few of the things we have. And don't forget, Friday night, I cannot wait. Three Ravens Publishing, ThreeRavensPublishing.com. Hillbilly will be with us for the release of their new book in the series. It came from the trailer park. I love the series. It is very, very cool. And don't get out in the cold and wind and rain and go ask people for candy. Come on the Southern Fried and let's have fun. So, all right. All right, let's see here. Barry says, the one trap is when the police officer asks where you're going. We've talked about this. This is a good one. It's another business when you're going, but it caught me off guard when they ask, and that's what they play on. Oh, back to back. Oh, not a good start for the Dodgers. Blue Jays. It's the bluebird of happiness. The Blue Jays are smoking hot right now, early in the game. Yeah, when they ask you questions like that, there's an old skill that I have. There's a skill that I have developed over time, and some people mistake it for I'm just not going to answer the question. And that skill is I don't usually answer right away. I will think about what I'm fixing to say. It's something it took me a long time to get there, and certainly I could be caught off guard. But I really try to measure what I'm going to say and why I'm going to say it. Not because I'm trying to hide anything. It's like, why would they ask me that? Like, where are you going? I mean, I don't mind saying, well, I'm going down the store, but again, it's the whole idea of what are you fishing for? Why would you be asking me where I'm going? Sometimes, I mean, there's just no need for that. I mean, obviously they're doing it to get deeper into that. Barry says it doesn't matter where you're going. What matters is why they pulled you over. Yes. Why did they pull you over? That's the question. Yes, you have to produce valid IDs, insurance, registration. Yes. All you sovereigns out there, keep on. I enjoy watching the windows getting busted and y'all pulled out. That's entertainment to me, but I hate it for the police officer. It doesn't work. Name me one time a sovereign has been successful in this. You this whole idea you don't have to follow the laws of the land and you're da and all that. It just doesn't work. But I do enjoy getting to see you drug out of the car. That's on you. You gave them a reason. And I listen. I get all these people that say they're testing the laws and they're going and being. Some of them are just jerks and stuff. You're not impressing anybody. You look stupid. Don't treat the officers with pure disrespect either. That's not appreciated. The people that are cussing the cops and stuff, testing where you can stand, where you can't stand, that's not impressive to me. That's just called being a jerk. And testing the limits. You don't need to do that. If you've got a legit gripe, then okay, air it. I'm in. I will stay in. I really will. So yeah, I think it's baloney. My system is wanting to be a pain tonight. We just might turn it off. In fact, I think I will. Just one of those nights. It's a rainy, cold night in Georgia. So yeah, when you where are you going? Well, you can be nice about it. Just say, well, I'm not going to answer that. It's none of your business. You can say you're going from point A to point B. Well, yeah, I'm going down the road. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. And if they start trying to say, you got something to hide, say, why would no, I got nothing to hide. I just don't. It's none of your business. Officer, respectfully, it's none of your business. You can be respectful about it and just say, and most times today now, everything's recorded anyway. So they, that whole stuff that they would do after that back in the day, and there has been cases where they've turned that camera off, but they forgot to turn off the camera in the car. And a lot of cops been busted. So yeah, I'm going from point A to point B, but that can be a form of entrapment because once you start down that road, no pun intended, they are looking for other things that they can jump off of. And the more you say, it's just like on a witness stand, the more you say, the more ammunition you give them. You got to be very, succinct with your answers, answer directly. Don't waver. Don't add in witnesses are coached on this, but some people, they just can't help themselves, and they just get going all over. And then that's why you see the lawyers and the prosecutors are scribbling feverishly, because somebody went off the rails and they said way too much, and then it pulls in other evidence that they couldn't pull in before. So yeah, that's one form. What else you got? I've got a couple that I wanted to mention, and I didn't realize that I've actually never dealt with this, because I've never been in any real trouble. There's a couple of times I got in some trouble as a young person, but not to this level, obviously. But there is a little trick that they play with you about lie detector tests, and that's one of the things they can do, is to tell you that it can help you. We're here and that's another one. We're here to help you. Come on. No, they're not. But a polygraph test, it's not admissible, but in certain situations, and you can help make that admissible. There's a form they can get you to sign, and they will offer to do it, to help you out, because they will even lie to you and say, well, we don't believe you did it, but let's do that lie detector test, because we could help you out with that. And then, of course, you've opened up a Pandora's box. And once you sign the form, you can't back off of that. You're going to look really bad then, because they can introduce that into evidence. Even if you still refuse to, they can say, well, he said, I wanted to do it. Now he's backed out. And it can be brought up. The test itself, not really ever very useful, to be honest. They use it in TV shows a lot. There are cases where people have done it, but those tests can be manipulated anyway. That's why it's not. There's a lot of subjection to that, a lot of environmental controls, and it's just not exact, and it's not exact science, and that's why they can reference it, but it's not concrete evidence, and it never will be. Not in anything we have today. Even though there may be percentages where, it's showing you were probably telling the truth, or you were probably lying. Anybody could have that. It could be. It's the way the questions are phrased too. The way the questions are asked are very important. That's just like in court. The way a question is asked, you have to really listen to the way a question is asked. And hello, chick bait. Yes, it is almost Halloween. So you got to watch. You got to watch those kinds of things. We'll put that up so everybody might not be able to see everybody's chat. So you got to be careful of that. So they will entrap you. And I know of cases where they have used that. They have used that as a way. Let me see here. I'm being sent stuff. I'm making sure that I didn't miss something here. Okay. Okay, nothing. I don't see anything. Just making sure, folks. I'm making sure nobody, because I get a lot of things during the show. But they will use that during their introduction of good cop, bad cop. You got one cop who is no, dog tag's cool, chick bait. He's a nice guy. Dog tag is rock solid down to the earth. Friend of the show. Good guy. He's military, ex first responder, ex completion of Appalachian Trail. Yeah, you missed the joke. So he's talking about baseball. Baseball. But yeah, the good cop, bad cop. One officer acts aggressive and mean, while another acts like your friend. And to people that are not, just say they're kind of weak. They're just, hello, Lewis. They're just kind of weak. And they don't really, they just talk. They don't really know how to think about that. They're not analytical that way. They're not thinking, what are you doing? They're not suspicious. And they just walk right into it. And then all this gets brought back up later in a court case, and they burn you down with it, because they're not your friend. They're not there to help you get off. They're there to convict you, to find evidence, to, arrest you and all that. They're running an investigation. So, yeah, he's mad about the Dodger score. But thanks for looking out for us, Chick Bait, because sometimes we do get the troll of trolls, but he's not the troll. We try to dispatch them forthwith, but sometimes. So yeah, good cop, bad cop. You know, we're your friend. Another one they do is they'll say something like they have to say it in a kind of a weird. Yeah, they did. That's right, Barry. The investigator did that in the book, The Zenith Man. Great book, by the way. Convincing Alvin he could be trusted. You're exactly right, sir. And I was thinking about that as I was talking about it, but it's a great book, The Zenith Man. And they did use that tactic. And he didn't, even though he was kind of like, he didn't, it was kind of weird because he like was kind of believing him in some ways, but in other ways, because the way his mind worked, they couldn't pin him down, which was kind of funny. Because he had that autistic, thinking going, and he just said things matter of fact. He'd say like, "Oh, really? Okay," but he never did agree to anything. He said he was smart enough to say, "Well, I want to talk to my attorney first," which was probably the old man, salesman Sam from the book there, my friend. But yeah, they will say something like, "Hey, I've got evidence right here in my pocket." Now they had to be careful because they could dance into an area that get them in trouble. But if they come to talk to you about something, they think you might be involved. They could say, "Well, I've already ran some DNA evidence, or I've already took fingerprints. I've got the results right here in my pocket. So watch how you answer the next question." What they're trying to say is they already know you're guilty, but they're lying to you. They ain't got all that. That's just a game to make you get nervous, thinking, "Oh my gosh, maybe they really do got something." And so even if they don't think you're involved, they think you might sing on a friend, they will pull that. They will say, "Well, I've got some evidence. I'll use it if I have to." Well, if you got it, why would you be asking me? I mean, that's where you got to be. They dance all over that line. They are trained in this, and you got to think about that when you're being taught. And listen, it's not about guilt or innocence at this point. It's about protection of your rights, right? I mean, even if you're guilty of something, you still have rights. You still have rights. And if you're not careful, even though you could still plead not guilty, but you have buried yourself from the get-go of it having any kind of really opportunity to win a case, because the burden of proof is on the prosecution. All the defense has to do is show reasonable doubt. That's all they have to do. If you wipe away that opportunity because of this, there's not much anybody can do. There's not a lawyer alive that can, overcome your mouth. That's why they tell you to shut your mouth. Don't say anything. Hey, Chick Bait, good night to you. Have a great night. Blessings to you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, but they will play the good cop, bad cop with you and trick you into thinking that they've got more than what they have. They're still fishing. They may even have some stuff that they've pulled. They haven't had time to go run that. They probably come straight from the place. Somebody said you were with them or knew them, or you were a friend, or y'all hung out together, or whatever it may be, and they'll take that, run with it, and they'll come to you and see what they can get out of you. And they'll say, "Oh, well, I'm investigating this crime, and I was thinking you might could help me out with that." Dog Tag says, "Body cams, can we ask to see a video?" Well, that gets into a sticky subject. I think all that would have to be, there would have to be motions filed for that. That's like at a store. People think, "I need to see your video." That's not the way that works. You're going to have, the law can, if there's a reason to go look at a video to, somebody stealing or a crime may have been committed. But the public, John Q. public can't walk in and go, "Hey, I need to see the cameras. I think somebody hit my car. I want to see who it was." They're not giving you that. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to hire a lawyer. They're going to have to, work with the legal system to get that. So sometimes the cops slow roll that too. And I don't mean the foot soldiers. I mean the DA and all that. They will slow roll evidence sharing as long as they can. That sometimes that can be hard to get out of a police department the evidence that you're looking for, the full discovery. And there has been cases, and even recent cases, where discovery was a botch so bad it just shot the case down anyway. Lost evidence. It happens. They lose evidence, and then they'll supposedly find evidence. There's all kinds of stuff like that happens, and it that's why some cases, don't get either. They'll say for lack of evidence, we're not gonna, we're not going to trial. They won't say they're innocent or not, just for lack of. They don't think they can get a conviction, and so they measure all that and kind of see where they're at with that to see if it's worth going any further with it. Another one they do is besides the obvious, I mean, they're running sting operations, phone call kind of stuff. That's normal stuff. Let's see. False claims of accomplice confessions. This is a big one. And we've all seen that in police shows and stories. And the police tell the suspect that a friend or co-defendant has already confessed and implicated them, urging them to tell their side, end quote. So, like, listen, they're already singing on you over here. It'd be nice for us to have your side of this story, when their friend may not have said anything other than name and social security number and I want to see my lawyer. I mean, but they will do that, and they'll make sure that that they're there. Sometimes they even let you see each other, like from a distance. Like, we already got your friend over here. He's singing like a pigeon. You might want to go ahead and do some talking. They'll burn you down. I mean, I get it for those on the law enforcement side. Listen, I get it. You're doing everything you're going to do everything. And well, some would go beyond that, but in most cases, you're going to do everything you can within the legal means. It's legal that you're given by the Constitution, the Supreme Court, and all that to get a conviction or evidence gathering to solve. I get that. I totally get that. The problem is a lot of times we say it's legal, but rights get trampled on. There's things that are not forthcoming. I mean, even as simple as reading your Miranda rights, that can get butchered as well. There's been cases that have been lost because they didn't read the rights. There's pretty famous cases about that. They got so into getting their guy or their person. I don't mean to say just a man. In getting their person, they totally butcher the Miranda rights, and there's been people. The case was thrown out because they messed it up already. Now anything that has said or did after that point cannot be used in court because it was not done properly. And so there's a lot of things they have to walk through, but these are considered legal things they can do to get you to talk. Another thing they will do is minimize the crime itself. They will downplay the offense. It was just an accident. You didn't mean to do it, right? So they will say, like, you'll feel better if you just get it off your chest. Just write it down. Just write it down. You'll have it down on paper. You can read it back. You can make changes. We're all witnesses to it. This will help you feel better. And after all, it was an accident. I mean, you didn't mean to do it, right? And they will give you leading stuff like that. And there has been cases where people that were not mentally competent were talked into signing something, and they didn't know what they were signing. In fact, sometimes it was filled out by people in the office, and they just put their name on there. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that they think they're signing something saying they didn't do it. What they're when they're really saying, oh, you didn't mean to do it. But they're really slick how they get to that point. Investigators are. They deprive you of food, sleep. I mean, they put you in a small room. They run cops in and out. You got good cop, bad cop going on. You got little games they play, to make it seem like, oh, we just found new evidence. Like We're going to have to get this wrapped up pretty soon, buddy. We got other people that we're going out after, and you would want to get your story in before they get here. It's all kinds of stuff like that. Or, the person says, I want to see my parents, or I want to see my wife or my husband or whatever. And they'll say, well, sure, just go ahead and make a statement. And, we'll get you that phone call. We'll get you some food and a cigarette, whatever. And they're signing off on stuff and throwing their rights out the window. So you gotta really stay with that. When I went in the military, and I don't know if every ASVAB was this way, but my recruiting officer told me, he said, Cordell, he said, I'm going to give you some advice. He said, you got to listen to me. He said, when you get up there at Knoxville and you're going in there, he said, whatever job you're wanting to go to, whatever you're trying to join within this here military, they're going to tell you that's filled up. Well, we ain't got no room in there. They're going to try to get you to take something you don't want, something that they need to fill, a quota. They're behind on it. They're lying to you. He flat out said they will lie to you. Well, it went up. I thought I was prepared, but it was a lot going on, a lot. But I was ready, and I went back there, and I told them what I wanted. They offered me a job. Yes, if in custody, you do definitely ask for your lawyer. You got to give your name and all that, but beyond that, you ask for a lawyer. Absolutely. Absolutely. You say, I'm not talking without the presence of my lawyer. And this is where a lot of cases are lost. Big time. And again, I'm not talking about whether it's right or wrong, but this is your rights. This is the rights we have as Americans. And you should really think about that. I mean, the traffic stop, or they pull you in for interrogation, but that could be a voluntary thing too. Hey, can you come on down? You're not really arrested. It's just, hey, let's talk about this. Yeah, we're going to let you drive on down. We're not putting cuffs on you. And they try to really build rapport. They've got the person that's trained for that. And especially if they go, we're going to have to read you your rights, and we're going to put the cuffs on you just for our protection. At all those points, you need to really say, listen, I want to see a lawyer, because they're going to keep hitting you with a lot of questions and stuff. But yeah, they will play those games like that and really do things like that. But anyway, I went up to Knoxville, went back. I told them what job I want, or they had it on my paperwork. They said, that's filled up. We don't need any more of that. Well, I told them that they offered me a job. I said, no, I don't want that. So they sent me back out. They called me back again after a while. Have you thought about it? I said, yeah, I don't want that job. And I ain't signed anything yet. I mean, I'm not sworn in. Until I'm sworn in, I can walk. I mean, I'm not obligated. So they offered me something else. I'm like, no, I don't want that. No doubt. No doubt. So I get in there and I say, I don't want that. So they start playing a little hardball with me. They did the same thing. Good cop, bad cop. You got one guy being a jerk, one guy going, we'll find something for you. Just go out there and think about it. Well, they wear you down, and I screwed up. I really did. I thought I was doing good. I did bad. I was very shy back then. And I felt today, it wouldn't bother me a bit. I'd just walk. But, and that's when they're going to do. And then I went back and my recruiter said, you signed for what? We talked about this. I'm like, I know. But it's a salesman game. I mean, they got quotas to hit. They'll tell you anything, right, Dog Tag? I mean, it's like they're sweet as pie until boot camp. Everything is Mr. Cordell. Yes, I'm here to help. But as soon as you do that swearing in, it's on like Donkey Kong. Then you realize, if you didn't get everything set right, your military service can be started. And I'm big on military. I want people to join. But you just got to know that they're trying to fill spots that they don't have people in. And they might be good jobs. It just may not be what you want. So police do that. They will they'll work on you like that. They'll wear you out. They'll be like, would you like a sandwich? Maybe a little coffee, and we just need to ask you a few more questions. And so the good cop, well, let me get you some coffee. Let me get you a little sandwich or a bag of chips or something. And then the bad cops come back in. You had time to think about it. How was that sandwich? How was those chips? Well, we really need to get this going. They bring the guy in that's real hardcore, and the guy's trying to well, I don't know if we got to go be hard. Oh, no. And he acts like he's backing him off, so you'll feel better about this guy. All those games. Get the lawyer, though. Absolutely get the lawyer. So they minimize the crime. They minimize the consequences. They will throw out things like, maximize the consequences. They will threaten you with this is used big time. They will threaten you with longer sentences if you don't cooperate. And that scares people, thinking I'm going to be locked up this long. They're offering me this. I could get this. And sometimes they cave on that. Now, granted, depending on what they have, that right there might be the best thing. Because if you lose, then they can, watch giving up. Dang right. Yeah. Be very clear about that, But I've seen people say, I can beat this, and then all of a sudden they get this. Now, I always say, if you're innocent, stand on it. Stand on it and believe in it. But there's a lot of variables that play into that. I got a family at home. I can be out in 24 to 36 months versus 20 years. They throw all that stuff at you. They play good cop, bad cop with that too. They come at you, well, we got an offer. We didn't want to do it, but here it is. If you don't sign it, then we're going to trial and we're going to prosecute. And if you get convicted, and we got a strong case, you're going to get 30 years, buddy. And so there are people that take stuff like that. And at times there has been people that were innocent, that were railroaded into taking because they were afraid they had enough to convict them. They had the wrong guy or wrong gal. And they go ahead and plead guilty to a crime they never committed. And sometimes that stuff gets overturned through investigations by people who volunteer their time. Other times people spent their whole sentence innocent because they were afraid of the bigger sentence. So it's scary stuff. Listen, this is the spotlight on you. And it's easy to sit in the easy chair and say what you would do. But when that focus is on you, and I'll tell you one that is so scary, and that's why we really have to be careful as men, especially men that have been lied on about inappropriateness. And, there are those that are guilty and they deserve everything they get. There's also men who have been railroaded and they start throwing around, a couple of decades at you. That scares people. I get that because you're thinking, man, I didn't do nothing, but they start building up this case and making you look like, public enemy number one. And there have been cases where, and I was at a case one time. I was at a court case where thank goodness for that defense lawyer. There were two rape cases back to back. The first of the guy was guilty, absolutely guilty, just a scumbag. And he got convicted while I was there. We started hearing the second case, and they got her to admit on the stand that she lied. Oh my gosh. Oh, did that judge tear into her, as he should have. And I think he might have even locked her up for a couple of days, just for the simple, lying in court and all that. But he grilled her. This guy he said, I could have sentenced this guy to, 25 years or something. And you lied. How dare you? So it does happen. It does happen. And there's been cases in the county that I live where people have been falsely accused. They've been found innocent, but it took everything they had. Every amount of property they had, every amount of money they had in the bank, every retirement, anything of value was sold to pay for a good legal lawyer, good legal team, because most people don't have that kind of money sitting around. And, that's what they get. They get paid for that. And it is true in America. It is true that if you are poor, and I'm not demeaning people that work within that public defender's office. Sometimes they are incompetent. I don't know how they got their law license, but a lot of times there's just so many cases thrown at them, and there's no money for some things. If you're indigent, you can get some things paid for, but money talks. You're not going to get the best, experts, the people that could come in, medical experts, or uh, you know, somebody that's an expert in their field on whatever you're charged with. They don't have the money to get those people, because it ain't just paying them to be on the stand. They all get paid. Come on, they all get paid. It ain't just that. They get paid. They get you got to put them up in hotels. You got to pay for their travel. You got to feed them, all that stuff. And the more you have them do, the bigger that bill gets. And so if you don't have money, your legal, uh, it goes downhill. The value of it, the quality of it goes down significantly. And so it is true. Good, innocent people do get locked up or get more time than they should have because of incompetent lawyers who either they're incompetent because they're just horrible, or they're overworked and they just don't have the time to put into a case. And it's true, dog tag. In many cases, money can buy you innocence, and you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And he paid through his nose for that, and for him, it was worth every dime because he was looking to go to jail for life. And that was a violent case. He did go to jail later, but it's for robbery or kidnapping, robbery, because he went to get his memorabilia back and they held him and took stuff. And then that's how they got him. And I want to tell you, if I remember right, dog tag, that was at the Las Vegas Police Department when he was surrendered himself, because that's where it happened, right? And when they brought him in there, those officers and guards and everything treated him like a king rolling in. You remember that? That was on an episode of Cops. They were all just hot. I mean, back slapping him and Mr. OJ this. Boy, I'm gonna tell you, most people don't get that kind of treatment. You go in there, I mean, they're treating you crappy. Oh, them guys was falling all over themselves. I was expecting them to get down and kiss his feet. I'm telling you, it was sickening to watch that. That's the worst episode of Cops I ever saw in my life. They treated him like he was Jesus Christ rolling into town. That just angered me so bad when I saw that. Listen, I know people, you say, what happened to that deer on the job? Well, I met a celebrity. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I met this person. They are a celebrity. But to act like they, like they get treated different, like Mr. This, and they're telling everybody else, get your butt over here. And they don't say it that way. They say it worse. Listen, I understand, I'm not, and I think every person deserves respect. I'm not talking about respect. These were like fanboys. You saw it, dog tag. Just sickened me. And at that point, I don't care if he's innocent or guilty. That's not a part of this. The part is he's during that you got to be professional. They were cutting up and with him and everything. I understand that sometimes law enforcement will talk to somebody in the police car like, "Hey, why'd you do it? I'm praying for you. I hope you do well. Please get some help." I find all that very good. I like that. But when you're just a fanboy and you're just loving on somebody because they're a celebrity, that's sick. Because Joe over here, who's just some old guy that got he got a DUI and he hit some cars. He didn't hurt nobody, or nobody got killed or anything else. He did bad. Well, Joe, they just treat him like a piece of scum, because they got him a DUI, and then they roll out the red carpet for somebody like that. It really bugs me. But yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's a ton of ones like this. Like sometimes the use of informants really bother me. I mean, I get it, but how trustworthy is an informant? If somebody is in trouble already and they promise them a reduction or throwing charges out or getting them out of jail or whatever, if they'll testify against this guy, we need you to talk it up in the jail cell and get some information. I mean, how trustworthy is that? I mean, this guy or this woman ain't. They're not living a life of character and honor. But they will do that. They will lean on somebody that they have some evidence against and say, well, we can run you in right now. We got enough to run you in. But if you'll do us this, help us get this person over here, you could get a little money, or you could get that case thrown out or reduced or whatever. And they apply pressure that way. So of course that person is going to do everything they can to try to get them what they want so that they can clear themselves. And I never like to paint a brush over things because I think it's really hard to do that. And I believe that there are times you should use stuff like that, but it needs to be. I mean, it's got to be really follow some guidelines. And again, I think you got to measure that. What are they really telling you, and can you trust it? I get it. You got the person that goes buys the drugs from somebody, and they say, well, I bought drugs at this house, but they bungled that. A famous case down in Atlanta a few years ago. The informant said that they bought drugs at this house. They hit the wrong house. I don't know. It might have been a neighbor. They hit some old lady's house. They come banging on her door. I don't think they announced they were police. They were coming to the door. She opened fire and shot one of them through the door. And then they opened up on her and killed her. And she was just an old lady who was scared to death, who was defending her home. These cops, it was a bad case. A lot of cops got in trouble, lost their jobs, because after they realized they hit the wrong house, they tried to cover it up. And they tried to make this lady, this senior citizen, look like the scum of the earth because they messed up. And that's what scares me too. That was where the no-knock warrant really got, it's not the last time, because the one in Cincinnati has gathered a lot of interest as well. It was the Brianna, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, story where they no-knocked on that. But there's other cases like that where they hit the wrong apartment, the wrong house, they're going off an informant, and at the moment that they're busting in, these people have no clue they're officers. And it's always debatable. Are they saying we're police, we're police? And do you believe it? If they don't have the uniforms on, they're going, incognito or whatever you want to say. Could a criminal do that? Just come through the door, police, make you stand down, and then, they got you. I mean, it's one of those things where you're kind of danged if you do, danged if you don't. And you have to be really careful. Now, that was a case in Walker County here. And I don't want to say too much because I don't remember all the facts of the case. But it was it highly energized this community in Walker County. I believe it was Walker County, where a guy got shot through his window at his house. He is seen in the kitchen with a gun. He heard noises outside, and the police were there. He did not know that. They're walking around his house at night, and they claim he raised the gun. I don't know, but he's thinking somebody's trying to break in my house, and they shot him. They killed him. And that's one that this has been a few years ago. It's one that people have really looked at and said, wow. I mean, you can just take out somebody. And again, I understand officers have a split-second decision, but the way they were doing that around his house and everything, it would scare anybody. You would be thinking, what the heck is going on? And, people's going to think, I don't want to be shot first. If somebody's pulling down on me, and then I'm going to, I don't know. I'm going to get too deep in the weeds on that. I did look at the case at one time. I forgot more about it than I remember, but I still know that's a sore one here in the county. And he was just a good old guy. I don't remember I don't even remember why they were there. I don't remember that, but I know he died. And that's a tough one. It really, really is a tough one. And there are others like it where where do they cross? Do they cross the line? Do they, uh, you know, do they do something that is infringing on your civil rights, or you know, uh, it's just this overreach sometimes. You just, first of all, you got to know your rights. Secondly, you need to keep your mouth shut only and share only that information that is you're required to share. And you don't have to be a jerk about it. Again, we're not here to make enemies, but stand your ground and say, I want to see an attorney. They say, well, you're not under arrest. Well, I'm not answering any more questions about the presence of my attorney. I think you need to be that, because if they're on that kind of fishing expedition, you need to be real careful. It's a great movie. I'll say this, and we're going to flip over to Southern Fried Vent. So we're probably going to lose some of you because we only do Rumble. We'll drop the channels out. This was the plan all along, to be Rumble exclusive. If you don't have Rumble, please get one and join us on Rumble. It's free. You will get commercials unless you have the premium plan. They don't last long. Then you can, after 5 seconds, you can skip them. But the premium is so cheap, really, to go ahead and get it. And it helps Rumble. They protect free speech. But anyway, that's totally up to you. And I understand if you don't want to do that. We're not telling you to do it. We're just saying, hey, here's a way you can do it. And we're on 2 different channels now. So it's Southern Fried Podcast and SF Podcasting on the Rumble side. So 2 channels, double the pleasure. So we'll do Vent. But the Tom Selleck movie, An Innocent Man, that's a great, great movie. And the gist of it is they hit the wrong house. And it's his house. They plant the cocaine. He goes to jail. He's an innocent man the whole time. That movie is, and when he gets out, he's being harassed by the undercover guys who are threatening him and putting pressure on him about a lot of stuff. And he helps set them up with other people that he made connections with to expose bad cops. But that is a great movie. He was like a NASA engineer or something like that. High level, high skilled job. And they hit the wrong house. They planted the drugs, and he went to jail. He was convicted. And it's that movie will scare you a little bit, just because you can see how easy that would happen. And let me say this lastly: the sheriff that was arrested in Kentucky that shot and as charged with, he's not been convicted yet, of shooting the judge, although we've all seen the video. If you have never watched the tapes of their body cams after they put the cuffs on him, how scared he is that he's going to be shot by the officers. And he is so afraid to go down and get in a police car and go to jail. I mean, he's saying, be kind to me, boys, be kind. He's not trying to get out of it. He says, I know how this works. He says those words. I know how it works. He says stuff like, I want my pockets pulled out so everybody can see I have nothing in my pocket. And he is so scared. This is the sheriff. He knows how it works. How many times has that guy did it? And how many times is the officers he's talking to, how many times have they done it? That's scary. And that's what bothers me about law enforcement in America right now. This is Kentucky, small town sheriff, mid-sized town, whatever it is. And he says, I know how this works. And what he's saying is you'll plant drugs on me. You're going to plant this on me. You're going to do this. Or his greatest fear, they were going to tap him. He was saying that like, you'll say I ran, or I tried to get free, or this guy is truly scared he's going to be killed. The sheriff. Now he's just killed the guy, or that's the allegation. He's not been convicted, but in the video, he is shooting this guy. They still don't know why he did that. And he is scared to death that he is going to be killed. That ought to make all of us shudder. And listen, I'll say it again. There are great officers, men and women out there who do it every day. Thank you so much. We're not talking about you. We're talking about people that should never be officers, and they're doing bad things. They know who they are. And you know who they are too, probably. I mean, there's a code there, and nobody wants to say it. I get it. That's why everybody hates internal affairs, but you need internal affairs because bad things happen. All right, let me turn the music on, and we'll get over to Southern Fried Vent just a minute or so in, or will be by the time I get there. Stay with us if you can. And again, we'll be Rumble Studio and regular Rumble channel. And let me find my song. We'll flip things over, and we're going to talk about Vince. And you can just talk about things that you felt like were injustices that happened to you in a legal matter with law enforcement or courts or whatever. And it's your event. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to let you have your say. So put it in the chat, and we'll go from there.
Hey man, I just want to tell you about this new country show where everybody gets to vent their frustrations about whatever's got them down. Here's how it goes. It's a Southern Fried Vent show where everybody can vent out their frustrations. Come on down if you got something to get off your chest. It's a Southern Fried Vent show where everybody can vent out their frustrations. And if you're not satisfied, then don't come back. This woman told me the other day that her boyfriend didn't take